Are you hitting a brick wall with your social media or email outreach? You're sending messages, you're posting content, and you're writing emails, but it feels like no one's responding. Your coach said, "Oh, it's just a numbers game," but the silence is soul crushing. You're hitting the KPIs, but the response rate isn't as strong as you were promised. You send hundreds, even thousands of cold messages. Responses come back in a thin trickle, if at all. Mostly you get ignored, ghosted, or blocked. Even if you know it happened, you don't know why. The truth is, the answers you need are often hidden in the questions that you do not ask. So today, we're going to reframe how you approach outreach. This way, you can turn frustration into breakthrough conversations. And you can turn uncertainty into understanding. Because the key to better results isn't knowing more answers, it's learning how to ask better questions. So here's my premise. Focus on discovery versus convincing. Most people are approaching outreach, especially cold outreach, like a game of persuasion. They think the goal is to convince. But professionals, especially those trained in the Sandler sales system, approach it as discovery. When you're trying to convince, you talk. When you're intent on discovering, you listen. Convincing says, "Here's what I do and why it's great." Discovery says, "How can I understand what you're trying to achieve? So then I can decide whether I possibly might be able to help you achieve your goals." Discovery is about their goals, not yours. It's a very huge mind shift. In Sandler, we say, don't spill your candy in the lobby. That means stop giving away all of your features and benefits before you even know what the other person cares about. In NEPQ, Jeremy Miner teaches that every question should lower sales resistance and increase emotional connection. This happens when you're not interrogating, you're guiding. You're not trying to get someone to say yes, you're helping them to feel understood. When you approach outreach with curiosity, you stop being the pushy salesperson and you start becoming a trusted problem solver. How do you do this? Step one, establish the frame. Every outreach message needs an upfront frame, a short statement that sets expectations and gives permission or requests permission to continue. In Sandler, we call this the upfront contract. It's about mutual respect. You're letting the other person know why you're reaching out, what you'd like to explore, but without pressure. So here are some examples. "Hey, I noticed your company's site gets great traffic, but your contact form isn't optimized. Mind if I ask a quick question about your conversion process? I saw that you're building funnels for clients. Are you open to exploring a few tweaks that could improve your lead flow? I'd love to compare notes and see if my approach could complement what you're already building. Would you be open to a quick call sometime this week?" Notice I'm not selling anything. I'm asking for permission to ask questions. That single shift from selling to exploring builds trust and confidence instantly. Step two, surface the pain, but softly. Once you have permission, your goal should not be to pitch. It's to explore the pain gently. In Sandler, this is called the pain funnel. You start broad and go deeper, one layer at a time. Can you tell me about that? How long has that been happening? What have you tried so far to fix it? What happens if nothing changes? How does this affect your team? Then bring in NEPQ, add some emotion to the logic. Let's say you're a digital marketer and you've researched their online presence, the prospect's online presence. You might ask, "I noticed that your Google business profile hasn't been updated in a while and your website doesn't link to it. I might be wrong, but has that made it harder to get consistent local inquiries? That's empathy in a question form. You're helping them articulate their frustration without criticizing their efforts. When they open up about what's not working, now you have demonstrated and earned their trust to help them fix it. Step 3, identify desired outcomes. Once you've uncovered the challenges, the next step is understanding their definition of success. This isn't about what you think success look like. It's how they measure it. What would make them feel like their marketing or business process is finally working? In Sandler, we call this future pacing. In NEPQ, it's called emotional vision. You're helping them visualize their own win. Try questions like, if you could design your outreach system to run exactly how you want, what would that look like? What would it mean for your business if your website consistently brought qualified leads instead of random clicks? If your website worked exactly the way you wanted, would it make you feel more confident in your overall marketing strategy? You're not selling a website, you're helping them feel the emotional relief of confidence. Because buying decisions are emotional first, logic second. You're uncovering motivation, not manufacturing artificial desire. Step 4, quantify the gap. And this is where you connect the dots. Between the pain and the vision lies a gap, and that's where your offer lies. Ask questions like, what's keeping that from happening right now? What have you tried that didn't work? If you could remove one obstacle, what would it be? This is where you identify what they actually want help with. This is also where we tie back to the 9 business models training from GHL Business Launch. Each model solves a specific kind of problem. For example, a SaaS model solves scalability issues. A service agency model solves time and skill gaps. A consultant or coach model solves strategy and clarity problems. When you identify the gap, you're not making random offers. You're prescribing a tailored solution to a specific problem. And that's how you stop being not just another vendor, but becoming a strategic partner. Step 5, micro commitments. Here's where most cold outreach fails. Too many people go straight for the close. They get one reply and they drop a calendar link. That's like proposing marriage on a first date. Instead, use micro commitments, small, low pressure permissions that move the relationship forward naturally. Would you be open to a quick call to explore this? If I sent you a short video walking through an idea, would you take a look? Would it make sense to talk about what this might look like for your business? Each of these questions seeks permission, not a purchase. This is how you build know, like, and trust. Micro commitments gain permission to continue the conversation. You're building a relationship, not sprinting to a sale, no sale binary outcome. So, to reflect and reframe, my younger brother recently taught me something. He had a point of advice for another family member, but told me he wasn't going to share it with them. Why? Because he knew that the person doesn't see him as an authority figure. If he were to give them that advice, it would just sound like meddling. And it's the same in business. If we try to sell before we've earned authority, our advice sounds like pressure, not partnership. Authority is granted to us by the other person. It is not claimed by us as I am the authority. So instead of telling someone what they need, reflect on what you've heard. So it sounds like your biggest challenge isn't getting leads. It's consistent follow-up after someone shows interest. Did I get that right? That moment of reflection transforms the conversation. Now you're not selling, you're consulting. So, in conclusion, when you stop guessing and start listening, everything changes. Because too often we approach conversations from a sales first mindset. We make the assumption, we decide what that person needs before they've told us what they want. We assume our product is the solution, but we haven't even earned the right to define the problem yet. That is why so many cold DMs and emails fail. They're based on our assumption, not their reality. But when you lead with discovery instead of convincing, you uncover the real story, the story of what they care about, how they make decisions, what they actually need. Sometimes the right answer is to help. Sometimes it's to just walk away. And sometimes it's to make a referral to someone else. But every time you gain clarity, connection, and credibility. So remember this. The best closers aren't the ones with the best answers. They're the ones with the best questions. I'm Keith Bashirs. I'm the bald guy. I help small businesses and solopreneurs with marketing theory, tactics, techniques, training, and technology. And if you want to master this questioning framework, the Sandler and NEPQ combination, check out our training in JHL Business Launch. You'll learn how to turn curiosity into connection and connection into consistent conversions. There will be a link in the description or pinned in the comments.